Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and once again I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about protein. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you're not subscribed or following, please do so, and if you'll be kind enough to drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it so much. Thank you. Here's the thing, guys. I am not denying the importance of protein. I don't deny the importance of animal source protein. I don't deny that we should have pretty high amounts of protein, and I'm not even going to argue against if there are not certain metabolic tricks we can do with protein overfeeding or using it in weight loss phases for satiety. Absolutely, right? Hands down. However, people obsess over it too much, and I think a lot of that's due to the supplement industry and pushing protein powders, which incidentally I still use. I use protein powders sometimes. I'm not opposed to protein powders, okay? So again, this is just having a balanced, fair, unbiased, approach here. Now, am I saying there are not some people who definitely are going to need to obsess more? Of course, plant-based people, vegans, yeah, they need to obsess a lot more about protein. Okay, let me be clear on that. People who are consuming no animal source protein, yeah, they have a whole different situation to deal with. Yes, those people need to absolutely obsess over protein and protein quality because even the data we had shows that, there was a study on this comparing all plant-based vegan diets in experienced female lifters versus animal source. And when they were given a structured diet, vegan diet, they floundered. They absolutely floundered. While consuming protein amounts, they were a little below the animal source group. A little below the animal source group, which was something like 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. They had something like, I believe it was 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, which research actually shows you should be able to make pretty close to optimal muscle gains on if it's mostly animal source. However, what they found in that group, particularly of ladies who are already experienced lifters, right, well past the intermediate phase, but pretty much bordering on advanced, on average, they struggle to maintain muscle and strength. Okay, so of course, people who are on a vegan diet, who are consuming 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, so for a 50 kilo woman, that's about 60 grams. That didn't really get the job done, did it? Okay, sure, those people need to obsess over it a lot more. But that's not most people, is it? Okay, and I'll give you examples of the nonsense people worry about. Intakes in one sitting. You know what? Yeah, you better start carrying them. If you try to do so, again, let's talk about these things are only problems in the extremes, right? You do an all vegan diet. Okay, you've taken an extreme approach. Yeah, you should definitely start caring about your protein more. Okay, I think we all understand this. How about people who really limit their feed windows to something like one meal a day? People will do, why do one meal a day? Okay, well, you're doing something a bit extreme for not a good reason. And so, yeah, maybe you do need to worry about protein a little bit more. I would almost say the people doing that sort of approach, one meal a day, they probably should be chugging a big giant protein shake at the end of that one meal a day. I would probably say they should consider more total protein than what we need is optimal, because they have such an extended fast. Like when your fast is 23 plus hours a day, yeah, okay, fair enough. But you're creating an artificial situation, just like a vegan diet. It's an artificial situation you've created. Yeah, absolutely. You should probably care a lot about your protein at that point. All right, everybody else, it's been overblown. So much stuff to where, we can only absorb whatever protein in one sitting, so we need all these protein videos. Well, that's been debunked. That's not true. That's a myth. It's been completely debunked. Even when we did that study, looked at it in lifters of muscle protein synthesis post-workout. It was last year, I think it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago at this point. They gave one group 30 grams of protein post-workout, another group 100. What do you think happened? They still absorbed it. The 100 gram of protein group had way more muscle protein synthesis. Guess what happened? Their muscle protein synthesis window lasted 3 times as long. It spiked up to the same level that 30 grams did, so it's like, they got the same spike. Okay, yeah, but it lasted 3 times longer. It lasted for hours and hours, and I forget the exact number. Whatever it was, like a 6 hour or 7 hour uptime versus whatever the 1 or 2. So, but it was, if I recall looking at it, the amount of really elevated MPS was 3 times longer, which you would expect it was 3 times as much protein. So yeah, clearly this whole idea is nonsense, right? How about the idea that, you have to get this immediate post-workout? Well, they only found benefits to that in people who did a complete fast. Okay? Who did a complete fast, right? So protein timing itself, been a little overblown. Again, if you're forcing an extreme artificial situation, sure, it matters. But what if you're not? I think it's reasonable, and most of even the best researchers and experts I've seen agree, yeah, if you're getting at least 3 high-protein meals a day at some point, spread out a little bit, you're probably pretty good. And barring that, hey, maybe you might need a little more protein because of that otherwise. Okay, fair. All right, what about the amount people need? All these numbers get thrown around. Well, we need a gram per pound, then 1.5 grams, then 2 grams per pound. You don't even need a gram per pound of body weight. Isn't that strange that that's just the number they came up with? That literally your exact body weight in pounds, the imperial system is going to transfer directly to an even 1-to-1 number in the metric system. You don't think that sounds a little made up? If you're 200 pounds, you have to have 200 grams of protein. There are different measurement systems. That's something seems a little silly. That was just made up by supplement companies. What's the reality? It's just closer to like 0.8. That seems to be the cutoff. Doesn't mean 0.8 is the minimum. It turns it around 0.8, 0.82, whatever 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight is. As long as it's mixed source protein, guess what? There seems to be no extra muscle growth, no extra muscle recovery, no extra muscle protein synthesis, through a 24-hour period when they do that same thing when it's been studied for growth. No difference. Okay. It's been found that when it's high quality protein, you can get away with about a gram per kilogram of body weight for some people. See where I'm going? But that's really pushing the limits. Down at that level, you may start compromising it a little bit, okay? But, if it's mixed source protein where there's high quality animal protein in there, it's closer to that, that can get away with it, or about 1.2 grams. But around 1.5 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight, there seems to be no benefit to going higher than that. That's been studied heavily. Well, that's really not that hard to do. Look, if you're eating mostly whole foods, in other words, and you were to just go drink 2 protein shakes a day, you're probably good. You were to go eat 12 ounces of lean meat or up to a pound of lean meat every day and not track anything else, almost every one of you guys out there would hit that number just fine with no problems.